So a couple of days ago, the new movie Supergirl got released, and it is the second movie that James Gunn has created for his new DC universe. It didn't feel like anything important happened in the movie. Supergirl, the character herself, wasn't interesting. It was another woke slop created by women that doesn't love their husbands and just feels like men owe them the world. But today we are reacting to a video from The Critical Drinker where he is talking about how the movie flopped. I'm ADK, I'm a South African YouTuber. Like and subscribe to the video. Let's begin.
Oh dear. It would seem that all is not well in the world of Supergirl, dear viewer. Not only did the movie get crapped on by every YouTuber with a microphone, but in a shocking act of corporate betrayal, even the mainstream shill media turned against it. And those guys will defend practically anything without a Y chromosome on the front cover. The film's last remaining hope was at the box office. I mean, plenty of crap movies have taken a critical mauling and still gone on to make like a shit zillion dollars. Maybe there was a third act redemption waiting for our girl Kara after all. Well,
yeah, it's weird that normally like the new DC movies are getting shit on a lot. Normally if Marvel brings out like a superhero movie and everybody knows it's a bad movie, the movie still makes like in the hundreds of millions of dollars and just succeeds in a way of making a profit, where DC is struggling to make a profit at the moment. DC is one of those brands that really needs to you can say they need a revamp, but every time a revamp happens it doesn't work out. The only guy that showed promise was Zack Snyder and his Snyderverse, but a lot of people had problems with him. When James Gunn came along, everybody was saying they are happy, and I knew from deep down James Gunn isn't going to bring justice to the DC universe. Sure, he made Peacemaker, which a lot of people love. He made Guardians of the Galaxy, which was one of Marvel's biggest standalone movies at the time. But let's be honest here. When it comes to DC, it's a really hard job to actually focus on. But then again, the guy is bringing out secondary characters. Superman, for one, was made into a Nancy guy that doesn't take care of himself, that needs his girlfriend to come and save him. Here we have Supergirl now, which no guy gives a shit about. And I'm sorry, all the women out there, superhero movies are for men. I'm sorry. Go and scream outside, go and tear your hair out. You have to live with it.
Are in and the final verdict has been rendered. This movie is an absolute, complete and total stinker. In the past month or so, the opening weekend projections have been revised down more times than a UK economic forecast, and it couldn't even hit that lowest of bars. Not only did it fail to take the #1 spot, but with just 37 million domestic, Supergirl performed even worse than Morbius, which managed 39 million. Damn man, even the Marvels managed to bring in 46 million.
Black girl magic!
Make no mistake, Supergirl isn't just a run-of-the-mill flop or an underperformer, it is a fucking calamity for James Gunn, the DCU, and superhero movies in general. And the thing is, we all told you this was gonna happen. We saw the writing on the wall, we read the signs, and we formed the obvious conclusion that this film had about as much chance of success as an Airbnb in fucking Pripyat.
It's true. We all knew this film was going to die from the start. It's because all of this crap being said about this is a woman empowerment movie, the movie doesn't need love. Every movie needs love. It's been shown time and time again. John Wick wouldn't be John Wick without him losing his wife, and they're putting a bit of love in it in the first one, which carried the entire fucking franchise with just one love scene that shows his wife. It carried 4 movies. Love is a very huge part of a movie because everyone can relate to it, except woke women.
Supergirl might be the most predictable flop in years, but what's important to understand here is why, because there's already all kinds of bizarre myths and excuses popping up to explain it, and if you can't be honest about your own mistakes, then you'll never learn from them, and by golly, I want Hollywood to learn from this one. So with that in mind, let us examine a few of them, shall we? Myth number 1 is that Millie Alcock is somehow to blame for all this shit. There's this weird attempt going on to frame her as a Rachel Zegler type of actor, constantly shooting her mouth off about politics, feminism, disrespecting other actors and shitting on men in general, and the thing is, it's just not true. Most of this is based around off-the-cuff remarks cherry-picked from much longer interviews that somehow became headline news. I mean, I'm definitely not saying she's perfect or anything, and if we're honest here, casting a relatively unknown 5'2" actress with the body of a child and a face that was always going to be compared unfavourably to her predecessors was a bad move right from the start. It was...
Yeah, no, look... Millie Alcock, she doesn't look like a bad person. I think she looks like a nice person. When I saw her, when the pictures came out, she was going to be the new Supergirl in this James Gunn universe. I was already feeling, she looks like a nice person. She has some nice features on her, you know. She's an attractive woman, but she's not very attractive. Not trying to be mean or anything, but... we've learned time and time again that if you bring a female into the superhero universe and you make a movie about her, most men are going to watch that movie. Women aren't going to watch unless their husbands force them to watch. So you have to make it a fucking hot woman for a man to go and watch it. That's why Wonder Woman was so successful. It was played by Gal Gadot, one of the hottest models out there. She can't act for a fucking penny, but she's hot, and it made the movie so much better. And it was a good movie, actually. The story was great. But once again, I wouldn't say Millie Alcock is a bad person. Like I said, she's being told to say some things on the interviews. There was a interview I saw about her when she was drunk, and she didn't want to offend the reporter, so she says, yeah, the movie doesn't need love, it's not centered around men, which is already going to push all the male audience away from your movie.
He's going to open her up to criticism, and boy did it come. But my point is, I don't think Millie Alcock is at fault here on a personal level. She doesn't really seem like a bad person. What she is young, impressionable, naive, and not particularly media savvy. And historically, there's no group of people easier to bait into saying something retarded than young, enthusiastic actresses that have gotten their first taste of fame and attention. Like this infamous red carpet interview where she clearly had a bit too much of the free champagne and was asked about Supergirl's perception as a queer icon.
It wasn't, but in honor of Pride Month, as I'm getting all these questions, I don't know. I think that what makes this film so beautiful is that it's not centered around a man. It's not centered around love at all, if anything. But we'll see. I don't really know. But I don't know. I don't know. She'd probably go both ways.
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
You can tell.
Yeah, that's the thing right there. That's actually the scene I talked about just now. But she's being asked about things about Pride Month and queer people and queer people. And listen, queer people, nobody gives a fuck. I'm sorry. Go and you live your life. I don't give a shit what you are doing. You can go do what you want as long as you don't hurt anybody. Do what you want with yourself. Make your own choices in life. Don't put it in my face. I didn't ask for you. You didn't ask for me. Let's live together. Do what you want to do. Leave me alone. And stop coming into my favorite movies. So, yeah, I mean, she's being forced to say a lot of things here. I'm always one to say you can stand up for yourself, don't be a bitch. But yeah, I mean, this is just the way movies have been for the last, 6-7 years. And that's why movies are falling down. And that's why every time me and my girlfriend have a movie night, we would watch an old movie from 2007 or 2008.
Awkward, stumbling response that she's trying her best not to offend the interviewer by saying, "What the fuck are you even talking about?" Because that would kick off an even worse shitstorm, while instead pivoting the conversation back towards the generic talking points that she's been given. She's doing exactly what every actor on the promo tour tries to do, she's just not very good at it. If she'd been a bit less drunk and a bit more experienced, she might have said something like, "It's awesome that the LGBT community have embraced Supergirl like this, and I think that's part of what makes the character so interesting. There's something in her that everyone can identify with, and that's why I'm super excited to be playing her." Ever notice how politicians never really answer the questions they're given and instead just reframe them into the things they want to talk about? Well, that's exactly what actors are supposed to do when they're promoting their movie. And honestly, I blame the fucking studio, man. Not just for failing to give her the media training she clearly needed, but for putting idiots like this in front of her in the first place. It's like that Mark Melkin guy. "Would you say this is the gayest superhero ever?" They had to know that questions like this were only ever going to appeal to a tiny percentage of the audience and alienate everyone else, but they did it anyway.
He's 100% correct, by the way. The studios should fucking sort their shit out, unless they want their movie to fail, which has been I think this has been the new fucking new thing for movies to do, is wanting their movies to fail, which is a weird thing. But I think studios should really focus on these reporters and make sure the people that are in the movies say the right things. And if they are being forced into some questions, train them that they can work around that question. It's not hard to do. Something that I learned from my school days, when you're asked to do your homework, I can easily turn that a question around into a new story and make my teacher have a stroke. But yeah, I mean, weird world we live in nowadays, and yeah, I mean, fuck. Movies need to be better. I wonder if one day there will be a movie and one of the actors on that movie just says like, "Fuck this gay shit." I wonder what will happen. I wonder if a lot of people will go watch that movie when someone says that. Don't say I said it, please. Don't bring me in this.
Millie all cocked to the wolves with this one, and I think that's a real shame because the fallout from this disaster is probably going to derail her career for years, if not forever. Myth number 2 is that the movie failed because men just can't stand to see women heading up superhero movies. Again, this is bullshit because how do you explain the success of Wonder Woman? There was no real antagonism around that movie, men and women both enjoyed it, and it was a critical and commercial hit. Why, you ask? Well, because the protagonist was likeable, feminine, and actually heroic. She wasn't some prickly, aggressive bitch who had to turn every conversation into a battle of wills, or a walk-in inferiority complex who constantly had to prove herself better than everyone else, or some shitty feminist revenge fantasy out to punish and humiliate every single man in the movie. Men are perfectly happy to support female-led movies on 3 conditions. 1, they don't shit on men for the crime of simply existing. 2, the female lead is somewhat likable. And 3, they're actually good. Supergirl failed on at least 2 of those conditions. Arguably 3 if you want to be picky. It was a shit film and the protagonist was just plain unlikable. Right from the first trailer, Kara's personality immediately turns you off, man. The writer probably thought it was super empowering and fresh to have a female hero who's messy and crazy and doesn't exist to live up to your expectations.
It's stupid, man. It's stupid that they went in this entire Supergirl thing. I like that she's like a younger, drunk, female girl, you know, partying all the time, but then they had to turn it into this, I can't find myself, and I'm better than men, why am I called Supergirl and not Superwoman? And you know, it's just a lot of crap. And I think if they went into the movie in like she did something wrong in the past, maybe made a mistake and killed someone innocently, and she has to rebuild on that, look up to Clark Kent, that is Superman. If she looked up to Superman and always wondered how can he always see the good in people, and How can he just live like that? Always see the good in people and try to build on that feeling and maybe learn a thing or two by him. I think this movie would have been so much better. You need a protagonist that struggles because everyone in real life struggles to find themselves sometimes. Most people do still at a later age. That's how you do a character. That's how you do a story. It's ABCs, people. It's not that hard.
Precisely the problem, partly because to outsiders, Kara comes across as lazy, arrogant and self-absorbed, but mostly because you're treating the audience like unwanted baggage that the protagonist has got no time for, like some opponent who has to be defeated or corrected. People couldn't warm to this character because you gave us no reason to like her. In particular, you gave men no reason to like her. See, we've got no sisterly solidarity with female characters. We're not going to support them simply because they exist, so you have to work extra hard if you want to win us over. And win us over you must, because here's another uncomfortable truth for you. When it comes to superhero movies, men are your target audience. You might hate
Exactly the point I made. That's just how it works, ladies, or woke women. That's just how it works. Deal with it. It's not that hard to actually win over a man into watching a female protagonist. It's not that hard. We had it with Snow White. We had it with Rapunzel. We had it with a lot of princesses, a lot of girls like Ballerina in the John Wick movie, in the John Wick universe. It's a likable female protagonist because it's not all I'm a female, you are a man, so you are bad, I'm good, I'm better than you in everything. It's building up that character to just feel something that we feel too. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. At the end of the day, we are all humans, but men are better than women.
them, you might resent them, but men are who you have to appeal to. It doesn't matter how hard you pander, women are not going to suddenly show up en masse to support your feminist superhero movie, because for the most part, it just does not interest them. Men are who you need to appeal to, and you failed big time with Supergirl. Also, there's no getting around this, the writing philosophy behind characters like Kara is like 5 years out of date now. As a culture, we are so fucking over the whole deconstructed hero thing now. It's not cool or edgy or inventive anymore. After more than a decade of this mean-spirited crap, it's become tired, dated and played out. The very thing it was supposed to be a response to. The lazy comfort zone of hackneyed, cynical and cowardly writers who are so afraid of doing anything real and authentic they'd rather hide behind irony and self-mockery. Speaking of which, myth number 3. People were just out to hate this movie because they want James Gunn to fail. I mean, as much as I love the idea of this army of embittered Snyder bros working in the shadows to orchestrate one of the biggest media destruction campaigns in history, I think you're investing them with way more power than they actually have. It's the same.
I don't think anyone gives a shit. I just think that people want good movies. Especially if you get some people that are deep into the comic books, deep into the lore of superheroes and things, which I'm not really that guy. I love superhero movies. I've read comic books before. I love the idea of when a superhero movie comes out, I will watch it if it looks good. But yeah, you just need to focus on those types of people. And I don't think Zack Snyder people were trying to defeat James Gunn. I think a lot of people were excited for him coming to the DC universe because he created the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Story with content creators like myself. Yeah, we might get a lot of views at times, but do you really think all the normies out there even know or care what we have to say about Supergirl? Of course they fucking don't. We don't make the news, we just report on it. But on the subject of James Gunn, I think it's fair to say that his creative vision for DC hasn't exactly been a winner so far. Why? Well, two reasons. One, people are simply tired of his shit because the whole deconstructed cynical hero thing that's coming to the end of its cultural arc is literally all he knows how to do. It's woven into the DNA of every movie and TV show he produces, and it's so fucking played out now. And two, his management of the DC brand makes Kathleen Kennedy look like a model of executive efficiency. I mean, shit man, at least she actually turned a profit before she burned it all to the ground. He hasn't even managed to do that. His weird piecemeal approach to trickling out obscure, disconnected content with no particular structure, plan, or overarching narrative tying it all together just reinforces what most people already knew. James Gunn is a director at heart, not a studio head. He doesn't have the big picture creative vision to manage an entire cinematic universe like this, and if anything, he seems to get sidetracked on personal vanity projects like Peacemaker or Creature Commandos, while failing to lay down the building blocks that this franchise desperately needs. They say that a rising tide lifts all boats, and there's no better example of that than the MCU, where even dogshit movies like Black Panther 2 somehow made more than $860 million. DC, on the other hand, is still waiting for the fucking tide to come in, which means every film they release right now has to stand on its own merits. Any sane man in his position would have brought out the biggest guns in the arsenal. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. Give them all their own solo adventures, then have them team up for some epic cinematic event movie, then...
That's exactly what I thought he was going to do. Focus on the big guns. It's the smartest decision to make. Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman. You make movies of those, just like you said, and then at the end of the day you can make them team up. Later on you can bring the smaller people like Green Lantern, like Hawkgirl, like Blue Beetle, and then you know what I mean. Bring the side characters at the end, Flash. But focus on the big guns at the beginning. That's what Marvel did. We got Captain America, we got Iron Man, we got Hulk. We got Thor. It's the easiest thing to do.
Only then can you use that momentum to launch the B-listers like Supergirl, Green Lantern, and fucking Booster Gold. Instead, Gunn's DCU is all arse about face, trying to open with shit that nobody cares about in a market for superhero movies that's rapidly shrinking, and well, the results speak for themselves. All of this is to say that, yeah, Supergirl was an entirely predictable failure, but not for the reasons that a lot of people seem to think. It probably would have failed at the box office even if it had been a decent movie, but as it turns out, it couldn't even manage to do that. And if this is what the future of DC on film looks like under James Gunn, well, you have to start asking yourself how much longer he'll be around. My guess is, not long. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
Yeah, and I think that is the problem of this entire thing. Like, James Gunn isn't a bad director, Guardians of the Galaxy, like I said again, but he's not like a guy that will create the entire universe. I don't feel he's that guy. I feel, and I'm not like one of the guys who chooses a side, but I feel Zack Snyder's universe had a bigger picture coming forward. I felt they went in a bit too early for the Dark Side thing and for the Justice League thing. The Aquaman movies were fucking horrible, but yeah, I mean, nobody gives a shit about Supergirl and other smaller characters. Like Superman was, in my opinion, a bad movie because it didn't feel like Superman. So yeah, but we'll see where this thing goes for them. The original video will be in the link down below or in the description down below. I'll share a link with you guys. This is the Critical Drinker. You guys can go ahead and subscribe to his channel. I absolutely love his videos. Yeah, that's all we have for today. My thoughts on the movie: it was a bad movie. It was a really bad movie. Boring, not really much happening there. But yeah, it's just how it is, man. This is just the new movies that Hollywood has been releasing, and people are getting tired of it. Maybe one day movies will get normal again and not be created by retards that is all about woke women and Pride Month and shit like that. Just make a fucking normal movie and cast people that are normal, not retards. But yeah, that was it for today. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a like to the video if you want. Comment down below what were your thoughts on the movie. What do you think about this video? Did the guy make some good comments on the movie? Or was this all a shit show? Let me know. Stay humble out there. Stay true to yourself. Love your family. Stay humble. Stay safe. Goodbye.